today, I'm really excited actually because it's Jovan Young is with me today.
Boxing is my thing. Boxing is what I do. I've done various other things, which kind of these will make sense of a lot of my story.
How you actually got into boxing in the beginning, like how did it all start? Boxing ended up being your saving grace.
First 10 fights I won, and it took 6 months out. When the party spent loads of money. But as a kid, that's how you live, right? I've done the novice championships, the Londons, eventually ABAs, got picked for my country.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Conversations You Keep. And today, I'm really excited actually because it's the first episode on this platform, on this show, where I'm actually speaking to somebody in sport, a professional fighter. Jovan Young is with me today, and we are going to talk all things boxing. So Javan, thank you so much for joining me. Can you just introduce yourself and let our viewers know who you are and what it is that you do?
What a pleasure to be here. First, I want to say what a pleasure to have me on. Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. Now, my name is Jovan Young. I grew up in South East London. From Jamaican heritage. Boxing is my thing. Boxing is what I do. I've done various other things, which kind of these will make sense of a lot of my story. From acting to modeling to mentoring to all various other opportunities and businesses I've started. But yeah, man, your average, like a lot of young black men in our community, I'm multifaceted, and that's all sometimes been a distraction.
I love that, because that's what we're going to get into. So I want to start with the early career, because this is not your first time in the boxing field and actually pushing yourself forward to be a professional boxer. Mm-hmm. So if we go back and just take it back to the beginning, just let our viewers know how you actually got into boxing in the beginning. Like, how did it all start?
Oh man, okay, so I was young. But in the very beginning, it was a case of from fighting, I could fight, right? I was a nice boy, nice soft boy. When I was bullied and pushed, I could physically go. I think being able to fight got me attention from the wrong people. So I got the label of being a bad boy when I wasn't a bad boy. So with that, I started getting into bad boy problems. I started getting into real issues with people, with the boys that actually were bad. So then I needed to go and learn to fight, to protect myself. So I actually went to the boxing gym for all the wrong reasons, 100%. But that first time my opponent's head hit that canvas, I knew I was done with the street and boxing was the way forward, because that feeling, man, that feeling is the best. And the thing is, you haven't got to lie, you haven't got to hide, you haven't got to run from the police. You can knock somebody out and it's legit, it's fine.
Do you know what? That actually kind of makes me think about the fact that I did some research and just kind of looked at, viewpoints of boxing. And there's a lot of people that actually see boxing as an encouragement of violence, whereas some see it as a motivational tool, getting people out of trouble. What are your viewpoints on it? Because you just kind of said, obviously, when I went into the ring, it kind of made me feel good. I'm winning. I can knock people out. I'm not being chased by the police. Do you think that stigma of it having a violent attachment to it is correct or incorrect?
Well, factually, despite what people think, people who box fight much less. When you have the confidence of knowing you can defend yourself, and these become valuable. These make you money. These win you fights. You're not trying to ruin these. You're not trying to hurt these on somebody's head, because they're worth something to you. And the confidence of knowing that you can actually fight, you just carry yourself different. You understand yourself that you are dangerous. So you're not just trying to throw your weight around. Boxing can be violent, of course. Amateur boxing is a sport. Boxing's a sport. If you lose your head and you get into a rage and you make it about violence, you're going to lose.
And before we kind of delve into that a little bit deeper, you actually touched on the fact that, it took you out of the streets. So you did have a previous life to that early boxing career, which has also enabled you to have a later life in mentoring, being a speaker. So let's just kind of go back to where it really begun. You are a very street smart, streetwise person. We can fluff it up, but you were in a gang life culture.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. So growing up, I never had, it wasn't on display the uncle that was the plumber, drug dealers in our community, in our area, saying, you need some money? Here, take this, go and sell this. You can make some money. You want to do that? Was what we had access to, right or wrong. That's something that's got to change, but that's how it was. So I definitely did go down the wrong path. And I think that what I learned is that my mum's really sweet woman, my family are from a really decent background. So what I learned was, as an adult, is that if I can go down the wrong path and go in as deep as I got very deep. And that's what made me realize, you know what? These young men need guidance, man. The parents need guidance.
How long was you on that path for? Just to kind of really understand how long you was doing that for.
Honestly, I would say in the beginning, so let's say from like 15, 16, 17, it wasn't that deep. Yeah. And then I'd also say 27, 28, 29, it wasn't that deep. So towards the beginning part, I was just getting into it. Towards the later part, I was coming out of it.
Right.
It's not just like a jump, like boom, from nothing to just deep in. I guess I was on the street, different levels. I guess I'd say 10 years, about 10 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that you found the sport, which I actually want to dive back into, because really and truly, boxing ended up being your saving grace. It's a testament to itself in that sport is sometimes what we need as an outlet, not just emotionally, not just for our mental health, but actually in the sense of discipline, having men around you to carry you through, guide you. And with you starting your boxing career, you actually have been able to accomplish so much. So that early career, take us through your achievements and what had happened.
Okay, so my first 10 fights I won. As an amateur, I had my first fight. Then, again, influenced by television a lot, I thought that fighters, obviously, there's amateur boxing when you're a young kid fighting, then there's professional boxers that are getting paid millions. Now, I thought that boxers fought and took 6 months out when the party spent loads of money. But as a kid, that's how you live, right? But the thing is, God bless my dad, not blaming my dad at all, but I just think the thing is, I was more influenced by telly than I was by conversations with my father. So really what it needed to be is conversations with your father, sitting down telling you, "Hey son, here's how you handle this, here's how you handle that." And again, I'm not blaming him at all for this, but as parents, what we got to look to do. So I'm seeing these guys on the telly that I know nothing about, box, party, spend money. So guess what I'm doing? I'm fighting. I'm spending illegal money. But I'm like,
I shouldn't even laugh. I'm like, no, edit that.
Yeah. I'm spending wrong money, but I'm like, I think I'm living this life, right? So I'm fighting. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go and party and spend money. I've got one more fight. Then I'm taking these long gaps. And then one year I went to Miami, spent loads of money. Ended up getting into trouble in 2009. And after getting into trouble in 2009, that made me really apply myself.
Right.
And that's when I come back, done the novice championships, the Londons, eventually ABAs, got picked for my country, Commonwealths, Pan Am's, World Championships.
Wow.
My coach died, went pro. This is a quick run through.
Yeah.
Coach died, went pro, went Miami, signed a pro deal, getting paid good money. Fighting. Daughter's getting older, had to come back to London, had a bit of issues with my conscience, just feeling like when I fight and celebrate and go to these strip clubs, I'm meeting girls who are telling me that they're in a strip club because their dad's not around.
What?
So then I'm like, whoa. So then I'm like, if I don't go back to my daughters, they're going to be the girls in the strip club. That's, you know how my mind works, right? So I'm like, I need to go back home, isn't it? I don't go back home because this is how.
So you're like, I can't have this happening.
Yeah. So Mick, for me, my coach that died was a mentor to me. He was the first person to really care about me, really guide me. For him dying knocked me down, man. I think that every young man needs a Mick, a man that takes your arm and walks with you and talks to you. You see, you feel like it's a bit like faith, right? You never feel alone. You never feel alone.
I know that you've skimmed over the achievements that you've made, which was so many. But I just want to briefly touch on Commonwealth. You were representing Jamaica. This was a big deal.
It was. And I think that it's that whole thing. That's it. The thing is, I've come back to boxing now, kind of just to really reaffirm to everyone and remind everyone that impossible is nothing. And we can literally, and we're living in a time where people need to really understand you can be whatever you want to be. I loved at the time sharing my community. It wasn't even a boasty thing or a bragging thing. I love showing them, guys, I was in the trenches with you lot last year. We were doing mad stuff together. We were on the street doing mad stuff. And look now, like, you can do this too. We're young, we're gifted, we're black. You can do this. We can all, I don't want to make it about colour, but man, any child that doesn't believe that, their parents are doing them an injustice. I'm going to say it straight up. And I'm not blaming the parents because sometimes people only know what they know, right? The parents can only teach what they already know themselves. But every kid should be blessed with understanding and knowing that you are great. So I'm back here to remind everyone, kids and adults, that I've taken the 8 years out and I'm back and I'm going to show you guys that I'm here to show everyone, remind everyone, you can, I could, I've been going 8 years. So what? I'm going to come back and, do what I put my mind to.
You're back and you're ready to do it. You're leading by example, which is what I love to see. And I can say that I'm definitely someone that is really happy to see you back at this and doing it. And we're going to go into sort of the second bout of you being back and doing this. With you just saying what you said in regards to, we need to make sure that we understand and know that nothing is impossible. We can do whatever we put our minds and our hearts to. That is a great example as to what you then went on to do. So you've done your career, you've gone into boxing, you've made all these achievements, you've gone to Commonwealth, things are good. You are fighting, you've made a name for yourself, you're professional. Then you stop.
Yeah.
Why did you stop?
Could it have been the lack of sunshine on my melanated skin? Could it have been coming back home to England and just not thriving? Could it have been the pressures of adult life in England? Could it have been the society we live in? There's so many reasons, but for whatever reason, to be fair, after Mick died, I left America, yeah? And I just couldn't get going here. I couldn't really box here. Just think about, I don't know if it was commitments in life, it just never happened. It just never happened here. And now, through lockdown, through quarantine, through BLM, through what we're going through as black people, through, the Jewish, for all the stuff going on, I'm just like, things have just got really, really, really real. We're reflecting on how our ancestors had it. We're reflecting on so many things. Right now, we're like, I'm not living this life and not living my dream. It's not happening. And I think as black people right now, I think we're all in this space. And I think if you're not in that space, man, feed off it and come to that space. Things are really real. It's pain, but it's also power because we're all feeling it. Let's be real. We're all feeling it.
We are. And, I don't know if just kind of say briefly that's the reason why this platform is here, to create a space where black people can come on a platform and speak of their accomplishments to encourage others to thrive. We don't just struggle. That's not what being black is about. It's about our accomplishments, our achievements. So I'm glad to have you on here, really showing that you've literally orchestrated the way you wanted your life to go. You saw when it wasn't working and you've come back and you said, right, I'm changing it. But what I was going to ask you was, when you initially went into boxing, it was an outlet. Yeah. You made that transition and then it died. Is it because you no longer needed an outlet anymore? Do you think that's why as well you stopped boxing? My
last pro fight where I got a draw, I was fuming and I didn't deserve the draw. I beat the kid. He headbutted me, he cut my eye, and he scored the blood. And I'm like, forget boxing, I'm done with you. Part of me was like, right. I'm done. So that was a part of it too. And that was me having a lack of resilience. I'm very honest. I'll be very honest with you guys. I'm never going to lie to you. Like, me sharing my shortcomings will help other people.
Of course.
So I didn't have the resilience to keep going. As a big man now, I have the resilience. I've taught myself the resilience. So that's why now we're going to do this for real.
So look, you have literally done a 360. Okay. So we just to recap, you've been having a life where you was on the streets when you was younger. You then took that energy and put it into boxing. You had a great coach. You have achieved so many great, winning great fights, the Commonwealth, mentoring, acting. I mean, you have literally done almost everything, but now you are back and you are ready to come back. So why now? Why have you decided to come back?
To make a difference in the world, right? In my community, I have more of a voice if I achieve more in boxing. That's on very first basic level. Do you know what I mean? With the, Black Lives Matter, the equality, our lack of equality, still the stuff that's happening. There's some horrendous things happening in the world today. And I look at our leaders like, are you not really allowing this to happen? And I'm like, Javan, calm down. Get a seat at the table, or at least get closer. At least get in the house. If you can't get to the table, just get in the house. And like Muhammad Ali said, boxing is my vehicle. It's the gift that God's given me, so it's the vehicle that I'm going to use to get where I need to go to impact the world positively.
Educate our viewers. I'm not assuming that everybody watching knows the ins and outs of boxing. So let's just kind of scale it down a bit. there are weight classes to fighting. Just tell us a bit about that, and also tell us what weight class was you before and what weight class are you now, and what does that mean for you as a boxer?
Okay, so in boxing, you got a walking around weight, you got a natural weight, and you got a fighting weight. A lot of fighters will lose, I say, averages about 10 kg to fight from their walk around weight. Some lose more, some lose less. You got guys as little as straw weight. I think straw weight is what, maybe like 48 kilo.
Okay.
You got straw weight, and then tiny guys. Then you got heavyweight, which is anything over 91 kilo.
Right. So what weight was you before, and what weight are you fighting at now?
I did the commonwealths at 75 kilo, but I made it the wrong way with a lack of education, lack of nutritional understanding. I did it. One factor I missed, I didn't understand sugar intake. I never understood. I never understood that having a juice is bringing me way up. And sugar, I never understood. So I'll be out there training, sweating. I remember being in Miami, my coach Orlando being like, "Yo, that's sugar. That's just pure sugar. What's wrong with you? It's not going to help." I'll be training hard, sweat. I'll be done. I'll be like, go.
Yes. So it's just counterproductive. So you being in the 70 kilo bracket, 75. So just for those watching, 75, that would have made you middleweight.
As an amateur, as an Olympic level fighter, 75 is middleweight. As a professional,
right.
73 is middleweight. 76 is super middleweight. 70 kg is light middleweight.
So what are you fighting at now? What's the weight class you're going into?
I'm going to go back. My plan is to go back at super middleweight, which is going to be a push. But that's the plan. I used to fight, like I said, I did commonwealths at middle. I did Pan Ams at light heavy. I did the worlds at light heavy. I kept going up and down. That sums up my personality as a young man, right? I kept just thinking, it'd be fun to go there. I want to kind of show for ego, I can go up or I can go down. And really, it was silly.
But then I guess we can kind of look at how much that really impacts the technique and the style of fighting, because, when we think about, just using Anthony Joshua, given that he's the heavyweight champion of the world, we've seen him do so many fights at so many different weight classes, depending on who he is fighting. We've seen him be heavier and slower. We've seen him be lighter and faster. So
let me stop you real quick, only because what you're saying, I know how you mean it, but it's inaccurate. So Anthony Joshua's a heavyweight. That's it. He's heavyweight. But if he weighs in lighter, he has different attributes. So he's a heavyweight, gonna fight the same people. When I'm talking about different weight classes, I mean like I will literally be fighting different opponents at different sizes. So he's fighting the same. Let's say he come in for Joseph Parker, very lean, because he wanted to keep it long. He didn't really want to engage. He wanted to keep it long and outpoint him. Yeah. So he come very skinny to do that. I think against Ruiz, I think he was quite big. When he's big, he's quite big, but strong, but cumbersome, right? That's when he's coming to bang someone out or coming to bully them, whatever. So I think that...
Is that still not relevant to the point that you were saying where you fluctuate with your weight in how your style... Yes, I understand that it means that him changing his weight, he's still fighting in the same class, he's still fighting other heavyweights, but his fluctuation in his weight means his performance and the way he fights in the ring changes. So if he's going to be heavier, he's going to be slower but pack more power. If he's going to be lighter, he's going to be faster, right? So how did you, from your experience and from your memory, when you was fluctuating, was there a weight that you felt was actually your weight you needed to be? Like, did you like being lighter and faster? Did you like being heavier and slower? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. You're actually right. I stand corrected. It does make a difference. For me, I think that if I sweat quite a lot, so dehydrated to lose the weight, which is lose a lot of water from sweating, I lost a lot of power doing that. Part of what was exciting about the comeback now is that I understand enough to know that now I could lose weight, be slimmer, smaller, faster, and still bring the power down too. So I wouldn't be dehydrating it down. So I'll carry the power down. Well, okay, so for me, I've decided that I want to come back. At the very least, I want to win an English title. I would like to go win a British title. And after that, if I win a British title within my time span, I'll give myself like 3-5 years. I'll get a British within the 3 years, and I'm feeling good. I want to crack on. I'll then crack on and do another 2 years and go, world level, whatever. That's the plan.
What do you say to people who say, okay, yeah, Javan's back, but he's too old now?
I'll say my name's Young. My name's Young. And I say that what the mind can conceive, you can achieve, as we know this. I want to say that, man, come on, like the mind, you know what, yeah? I'm old if my mind allows me to be old. If the mind allows me to be in that place that I'm old, you're right. If my mind allows me to be young, then I'm young. At the end of the day, if I was living a lifestyle where I drink a lot, take drugs, party, if I was living that lifestyle, I most certainly couldn't come back. I most certainly could not come back and do anything, but I don't live my life that way.
Now, we know that business and branding is really important in boxing. For a lot of us, when we watch a fight or we see the snippets on Instagram of the training sessions, we just see the sport, right? We just see the training and we see the fight. But there's so much more to it. So what's the brand that you're now trying to build for yourself?
Okay, I have to get back to you on that. My PR lady's got a, my PR lady's got to speak on that. You know, she takes this very seriously. I'm quite scared of her. This just goes to show you that the branding side of things and the PR is very serious. It is very serious on my team right now. I've got a lady by the name of Grace Schroeder, who's in charge of my PR. He's heading it, and yeah, she takes it very seriously. I'm like half the interview, I'm very scared to say certain things to you. She gets on to me, and it's not the brand, but the brand definitely, okay, honestly, from my heart, the brand is first time the brand in one phrase, it'd be impossible is nothing.
Okay, so for you, what does it take to now be a champion? What does it take?
Sacrifice, hard work, dedication, and something that I've not always been strong at. It takes drum roll, planning.
Oh,
you've got a plan. You've got a plan. Especially when you've got kids. For this to work, you got to schedule your days, you got to schedule your time, you got to plan. You got to have a plan. Because you know what? If you don't, like, I've got a trainer now that I'm working with, my SNC trainer called Ben, yeah? Ben, you're the best. Ben logs everything we do. He logs, checks it. My times, my weight, my nutrition, everything. He logs everything. And what I love about that is how I get to see that I'm growing every session. I get to see my growth. And if I do slip back, it's documented. Because in life, you can go round and round and round like a hamster. And before you can feel like you're doing a lot, but you could be doing nothing. And it's a very common thing. You can feel like you're doing a lot. You're going. But you're not constantly progressing and improving.
But we see time and time again that boxers really do make a name for themselves and they gain respect, but not all boxers do. So what do you think it takes for a boxer to gain respect?
There's so many ways, man. So many, and then there's respect, and then there's respect, and then there's so many, it's hard. Like Mike Tyson had you beat before you even got in the ring. He have you beat. Like fighters going in there, you see fighters almost take dives. You see fighters go down for shots that didn't even hurt because they're the shots. They'd rather go down and the fight end for the shot that didn't really hurt rather than wait for the round to continue and get knocked out by a shot that does really hurt. So they pretend to go down just to see themselves getting hurt. That's how crazy it can be. All through this, like I said earlier in the chat, the mind, man, the mind's a powerful thing.
How do you always make sure that you remain real with yourself and don't get sucked into the fantasies that come from the sport?
I can't think of anything other than age, time, wisdom, coaches, teachers, meaning that if I had a young fighter under me, I'm going to share my knowledge with him and hopefully he would make mistakes that I made. Myself, I learned with time. I learned from feeling the pain of messing up, the pain of having to have normal jobs and do things I didn't really want to do sometimes and not box for long periods. That pain made me realize how important it was to box, and that pain made me fix up. I don't want to have to go through that. So I'd say age and time and wisdom.
Boxing is a business and there are contracts that need to be signed. There are deals that need to be made. There is money that is offered on the table. There are going to be, critiques. Would you say that you are where you need to be in regards to the business acumen of boxing? Do you understand the business element of boxing?
Not even close. How
are you preparing yourself to be ready for that?
I've got a good mentor and friend in Spencer Ferron. Spencer Ferron knows the game. Spencer Ferron knows the game. My current trainer, Winston, knows the game. Winston's currently training me and potentially managing me. He knows the game. So these guys there, I know a little bit, but I've got people around me that know the game and have my best interest at heart.
We can also agree that sport in general, but especially boxing, is a very opinionated industry. Everybody who watches the sport thinks that they're qualified to talk about who's good, who isn't, who should fight who next, who was great in their last game, in their last match. Are you ready for the critiques and the opinions of others as you start to rebuild your career in the boxing industry?
I'm gonna be honest and be vulnerable. Yeah, I did an interview for iFilm yesterday. iFilm, our big platform, iFilm London boxing organisation, and after the interview went up, the comments started coming in. And back in the day, I would laugh and look and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to look. Sometimes I was so scared to keep reading down, and I realized, but me, I'm a good critique of myself. I clock that I'm not as thick-skinned as I used to be right now, and I know I'm getting back in. I'm a baby again. I'm getting back into something, and it allowed me to appreciate how tough and thick-skinned I used to be. I want to care. I said now I know I'm trying to find that place again. I'm not there yet. But I know I've got to find that place. Because in boxing, man, everyone's got listen, the first thing I'll say is this. Opinions are like everyone's got one. So can I say that language? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so don't let them get you too much. But at the same time, you're still going to feel it. Especially for something that you're a little bit sensitive about yourself.
Jay, it has been absolutely awesome having you with me today on this platform. And you're more than welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, so many insights, your career, and of course, where you're going. It's been a conversation that I hope everyone who's been watching will certainly keep. So thank you once again.
Much. You're so amazing at this as well. Thank you so much. You're great host. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel and press that notification bell.